Hello everybody, welcome to the first ever Universities at Shady Grove TEDx Talk. My name is Yanni Chrysopoulos, and with me today I have my team, Farman Hussein, Spencer Track, and a special guest, Alwyn Sheriff. Thank you very much for being here with us today. It is my pleasure to discuss with you all the importance of trust and the elements that go into building it. A few weeks ago, I was sitting in Teams and Organizations class with my team, and we were learning about the importance of trust that goes into relation-oriented leadership. It is the foundation, or the building block, if you will, of building successful relationships and profound ones that help open up doors for you in the future. Of course, it helps build influence, such as likability, and other elements such as that, to help enable you to move forward in this life. Not only personally, but most importantly, professionally. So after class, after learning about trust, we were still a little puzzled by what trust actually was. Sure, it's the thing that goes into building these relationships. Sure, it's important and foundation for relation-oriented leadership. But what is it? Is trust a feeling? Is trust something that you can see? Or is trust something that you get? What is it? We wanted to know more. So we approached our professor after class and we asked her, has anybody ever taken the time to define what trust really is? She looked at us. Of course people have defined trust. There is so much research on trust. In fact, trust is the willingness of a party to be vulnerable to the action of another party based on the expectation that the other will perform a particular action important to the truster, irrespective of the ability to monitor or control that other part. This is the most common definition of trust. But even though you know the definition of trust, it still doesn't tell you what trust really is. It's very cerebral. So, there are three truths that we've come across. The first truth is that trust is a neurological response. Trust is a feeling that is generated when oxytocin is released in the body. You ask what oxytocin is. Well, oxytocin is the quote-unquote cuddle molecule. It is the feeling that you get when you are loved or somebody hugs you or you hug your favorite toy or bear or whatever, even when you hold your pet. According to Dr. William Stickstrud and Ned Johnson in their book, The Self-Driven Child, they cite the power of oxytocin as being something that relieves stress in the body. It is the item or the molecule that helps trigger the limbic system. When the limbic system is triggered rather than the amygdala, then you are more creative. You critically think, and you're more agile with your feedback and the retention of, rather than getting fear as a stimulation, you get understanding and clarity. This is further proven by Dr. Paul Zak. He experimented with oxytocin in the workplace. And when management and people worked together to create the profound relationships that triggered this molecule or this feeling, people were much happier at work. People performed more at work. And it was a place that they wanted to spend more of their time in. Think about it. How often do you spend in the workplace? You, on average, will spend 40 hours a week, if not more, with the people that you're working with. Don't you want to go to a place where you don't have to worry about someone saying negative things about you or backstabbing you to get the promotion or whatever the disgusting fear environment might come with? Wouldn't it be best to know that you can work with people that care about you and you care about them and you're excited to see them every single day? Just like I get to see you all every day. Well, knowing that trust is a feeling, it's something that can be triggered. There's also the notion that it's the key economic driving factor for every organization. Not only cited by Dr. Paul Zak, but cited from Stephen Covey. In his dissertation, he defined that management and employees, when they feel close to one another, they are on average annual returns are 3 times higher according to the S&P 500. That is amazing. So not only is an environment of trust going to help you feel better, but your company is going to perform much better as well. Driving higher sales, driving a place where the best talent wants to come and work, and the people that are there are going to make it the best place possible. High trust environments or high trust companies are also 2.5 times more likely to be high performing revenue organizations overall. That is a fact. But more importantly, 55% of CEOs think that a lack of trust is a threat to their organization's growth. So if people really believe this and people really think this, why is it so hard for it to be implemented in the workplace? Well, we know that 74% less stress comes from those that are in an environment of trust. We also know they have 40% less burnout, 106% more energy at work. Whoa. 76% more engagement and 29% more satisfaction with their daily lives. Trust is a powerful thing. But still, I haven't told you how you can solve it or how you can implement it into your life, which comes to our final and third proof. Trust is a skill you can learn. According to the research of Dr. Susan Salgado, she has taken a lot of the elements of vulnerability, being able to admit your faults, and opening up to the people around you, and defined it in the richest concept that I am going to be sharing with you all today. The richest concept is an acrostic poem that stands for respect, integrity, courtesy, humility, and empathy with self-awareness. This all equals trust. So think about it. Have you ever worked with somebody that had absolutely no respect for you whatsoever, didn't care about where it is you came from, what it is you believed in, or even cared about what you valued most? In fact, they maybe even said nasty things about you, nasty things about your personal life and who it is you are. You're not really going to trust that person, are you? No, you're not. So respect is a huge piece to building trust. It's very important when you are going to interact with somebody. You need to make the intention that you want to build trust and know that the people that are working with you, they're in it together with you. The next big critical element to building trust is integrity. Saying what you mean and doing what you say. This is critical at all levels of trust. And in fact, you should put a star next to this if you're writing this down, because it is the most important piece to building trust. If you are not honest, and if you lie blatantly, without any disregard for the truth, no one is going to be able to trust you. So this starts with you. Saying what you mean and doing that which you say. Being real, being honest to the reality that you are going to generate. Because that's going to make a difference when people are looking at you and evaluating your performance. Courtesy. We just talked about oxytocin. If you can't make people feel good by walking into a room just saying good morning, being pleasant, saying thank you, saying goodbye, these common little pieces of courtesy go a long way. And they go a long way because that helps people feel closer to you. That helps people feel comfortable and happy. And it's the first key piece to really solidifying that release of oxytocin. Humility is the hardest one for a lot of people to build, because making a mistake means that we are flawed and that we're weak. But it's not true. In fact, if you can admit your mistakes to people, people will feel closer to you because you are doing what? You are being vulnerable to them. Vulnerability, again, is the key to helping build trust. And if you take down those walls and let that vulnerability wash over you by admitting, hey, you're right, I did something wrong to you, and I'm really sorry that made you feel that way. How can I make it better? I'm going to do this. Not only did you show humility, but you threw in a little bit of integrity, which is an A+ for the day. Empathy. Empathy is knowing how to feel someone's emotions and recognizing those emotions when you see them. Somebody comes into a room crying, are you going to be like, oh, this person? Or are you going to say, are you okay? Is there something I can do to help you? It's not a good day for you, is it? Don't worry, it's going to get better. That feeling of knowing, that benevolence of caring for somebody is really important when it comes to building trust. Finally, self-awareness has to be just as important as integrity and humility. Matter of fact, they're all important. But self-awareness is something that a lot of us struggle with just as much as humility. Imagine removing your head and facing it towards yourself. It's viewing what you do and noticing what it is you do. Because when you notice how you act and how you are perceived by others, the perspective that you give off, you realize that you only have a small piece of the truth, rather than knowing the whole truth. So you're able to recognize when you need to have humility. You're able to recognize if you've been disrespectful. You're able to recognize your flaws and your strengths, but more importantly, you're able to recognize the times that you were distrusted to be able to build that trust back up. So overall, this comes down to these 6 pillars: being able to be vulnerable, being personal, being transparent, and also just being bold to make that intent, saying, I want to build trust today. Now that you all know the pillars that go into building trust, it's very important to understand that with the intention and with the boldness to build this in your community or in your corporation, there are different levels that you will experience with certain individuals. These levels become more and more profound when you do open up different avenues or show more pillars to an individual. Now, scientists have shown that there are 3 critical levels of trust. When you first meet people, you have a first impression, or what is known as deterrence-based trust. My team that I have introduced to you all already, we didn't really know each other when we first started working together. We met a long time ago, and the first time we met was in the classroom. The classroom itself is a very strange place to be in when you first meet somebody. You only want to do things because you're going to get a good grade or the hope that you're going to do well. Or you have the fear that you're not going to do well. Well, that's what deterrence-based trust is. You are united under what is the fear of not performing because you fear the result that you are going to get if you do not perform. If, let's say, we didn't do the work and didn't show integrity to one another, then deterrence-based trust would have been out the window a long time ago. But that work was put in. That work came through and it did wonderfully. We were successful in the work that we did. So we came together a second time to work together because we knew that we could trust the work that these people were going to do. We came together a second time, we showed a little bit more respect, more humility, more understanding and empathy, and we became a little bit more comfortable with each other. We entered a level known as knowledge-based trust. This is important because this helps you enter what is more powerful, is identity-based trust. It is the 3rd and strongest level of trust. And typically in the workplace, people stop building trust at knowledge-based trust because you don't really have the need to want to know more about the personal lives of the individuals you work with. Well, if you do give a little bit more empathy, a little bit more self-awareness, have that humility, that respect, and that desire to know about somebody, you can develop identity-based trust. This deep level of trust is where you can be a little untrustworthy, and people will forgive you. They will be a little bit more accepting of what it is you do. And forgive and forget. Is what people say. But let's say you are in a level of deterrence-based trust where you just met. It's your opportunity to show people that you have what it takes to get things done. If you don't get it done, you're going to not be trusted and it's out the window forever. So these sensitivities and knowing these different levels of trust will help you move forward when you are really empowering yourself to build your relationships. All in all, I want to thank you all very, very much for being here today. Before me, I see leaders. I see people that are going to take what is a possibly fearful environment and be able to change that culture into one that is trustworthy. You all now have the power within your hands to be the leaders of tomorrow, to be the CEOs that I will hopefully have the pleasure of speaking for. in the future. Trust in we. Thank you.